All right, boys and girls, it's time to talk about The Witcher 4 game director and narrative director both finally responding to the backlash that has happened over The Witcher 4. As you guys are aware, Ciri is not exactly the most loved person right now, and for a multitude of reasons. It's not just because she's ugly. Some people think she's ugly. I'm not in that camp, but I understand why some people might think so. Some people are angry over the lore changes that are so blatant, over the fact that Ciri was never a Witcher ever, and they decided to now make her a Witcher in this game for reasons, whatever that reason may be. Ultimately, whatever camp you sit in, people are not exactly very happy right now with The Witcher 4 for a multitude of reasons. But with that being said, all the backlash they were pretty quiet about up until now, where they finally have decided to talk about it.
I have all the emotions right now. Sorry, but I couldn't see through the tears anymore.
Bruh.
Okay, back to it.
Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to keep in mind CD Projekt Red right now used to be a company that a lot of people loved, and some people still love. I mean, at the end of the day, you're always going to have your shills, and I understand that. But with CD Projekt Red especially, they were beloved by everybody for the most part, including myself. I was a huge fan of CD Projekt Red, and then what ended up happening with Cyberpunk was a major turnoff for me, to the point where now I keep them at an arm's length. They're not exactly in the full, ignore category like Bethesda is for me, with their multitude of broken games, and I basically only buy their games when it's on sale for like, what, $5? But still, CD Projekt Red isn't quite there yet, but considering how woke they're becoming in terms of a studio, and how they're deciding to make certain decisions that seem to be not in the best of faith, I gotta start keeping them at an arm's length, especially with Cyberpunk and that debacle. So let's get into this article, guys, from Phantom Pulse. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. So it says The Witcher 4 game director and narrative director respond to trailer backlash and criticism. In an interview with Eurogamer, Weber and game director Sebastian Kalemba were asked about the backlash the game is receiving after it was revealed that Ciri would be the main protagonist. Weber asked, "I think there's many valid worries and responses, because I think a lot of them come out of passion. And I think a lot of those questions are also questions that we asked ourselves. So we really again say that we are beholden to the lore, the canon of the books by Andrzej Sapkowski, the 3 previous Witcher games, and we want to take that seriously. And we really want to respect that. So all the answers we basically want to give in The Witcher 4 are in line with this attitude. We're not suddenly making up stuff just because we want to. We really want to take these things seriously." Okay, number one, that response is not a bad response. I just want to be very fair here, okay? It's not a bad response. And I think if it was any other studio that we didn't know any better, I think that that would be ultimately an okay response to have, and we'll kind of play the wait and see game to see if they're full of shit, right? Because I want the shills to understand that just because a developer says something doesn't make it true. We have seen so many different examples of developers being caught in lies throughout the last year or so that it would make most people's heads spin. So let's not sit here and pretend that because they're saying we're going to take it seriously, that suddenly that means that it's actually going to be, taken seriously. Look at Rings of Power, for example. They said, oh, we went back to the books, back to the books, back to the books. We're going to take the lore seriously. And they shit all over that show. So let's be honest here. It doesn't necessarily mean they're telling the truth, but I get what he's saying, and I respect a little bit of what he's saying. It just doesn't come off as very authentic, because then I remember, well, this is CD Projekt Red, right? This is a company that has gone down the rabbit hole so bad in terms of ESG and DEI that they are giving people, I don't even want to get into it. We've gone over all the fucking like period time off stuff that they've been giving their employees and whatnot, all of the trans ideology stuff that they have. It's insane. Anyway, continue. So I can really understand that some people, might have wished to play another game with Geralt. Like I said myself, I could make games about Geralt until the day I died, and I would probably die happy. But I think for me, and I think for all of us at CD Projekt Red, it's also just really exciting to see all the opportunities that Ciri brings us, both for her character and also by the virtue of who she is, what we can do with her in terms of gameplay as well, he added. So I think the best answer for us, for those people that are really worried right now, is to basically show them when we are ready that we really do this well and with care. And I hope we can then convince them with the game itself. because I think actions speak a lot louder than words. Okay, so listen, the guy's speaking fucking very well. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. He's speaking very well here, and I can appreciate that he's saying that the game is going to speak for itself. And at this point, I think that's where we're at in terms of Witcher. Even if the people listen, there's some people that are going to completely ignore this game because they think Ciri is ugly. Fine, whatever, that's up to them. But there's going to be people out there that are going to ignore this game because of the lore breaking aspect of making Ciri a Witcher. And I was going to be one of those people. And at this point now, it's basically a wait and see for me when it comes to Witcher 4. I really don't trust CD Projekt Red at all. I don't trust them as far as I can fucking throw them, and I can't throw them very far. So at this point, I think it's going to be one of those things where we're going to have to wait and see. But in terms of making games about Geralt until the day he dies, I mean, there would have been gamers that would have loved to play as Geralt until the day they die. So it's like it's something that would have been very easy money, a great business decision. It could have definitely helped CD Projekt Red return to form after the whole debacle with Cyberpunk. But now at this point, you got the Cyberpunk debacle. Now you got the backlash for Witcher 4. I don't know. PR for CD Projekt Red is not very good right now. And yes, actions do speak louder than words. And unfortunately, your actions right now as a studio are speaking volumes over the last couple of years. Kalemba also answered, yeah, well said. And on top of that, just please remember that we are also not only developers, but we're also gamers, right? And you know, we've started with the second protagonist already in the Wild Hunt. And so there was already a tease. So we really are all about making sure such calls are very educated calls. And we really believe, as Philip already said, that we also have so much of a great story to tell with Ciri, and she deserves that. And again, I understand she was a protagonist. She was a playable character in Witcher 3. I get that. I think her skills were very cool and interesting and different. The fact that she was teleporting all over the freaking screen and whatnot was definitely cool. But at the end of the day, Ciri was not a Witcher, right? Ciri was not a Witcher because she didn't have to be a Witcher. Ciri was different. She was special. She was actually the key to everything. You know what I mean? Like the actual real key to everything story that was designed by Andrzej Sapkowski, and you're turning her into a basic bitch Witcher just doesn't really seem like the route that you should be taking for a character that was built up to be something greater than a Witcher. And that's what a lot of people have in terms of issues with Ciri being displayed as a Witcher. However, earlier in the interview, when asked how they would approach the various endings from Witcher 3, specifically the ones where Ciri does not become a Witcher, Weber said that he could not provide any details. He shared, so we can't exactly say how we're going to handle it. This is something that we want to reveal later. What I can say is that we really want to respect everything that came before, that being the books by Andrzej Sapkowski and all three Witcher games, and that, of course, should also include some of the most important choices the player made there. But exactly how we, reveal how we handle all of these things, this will be part of the story that we will tell in Polaris, so I think that we have to talk about how we do it a little bit later. Yeah, they're going to keep the big reveal about how she became a Witcher. They're going to keep that, tight to the chest until the game eventually comes out. I'm sure it's not going to be anything grand. I'm sure it's not going to be this magic explanation. I'm sure it's just going to be that she's going to girl boss her way through the fucking thing. She's going to girl boss her way through the Trial of the Grasses. They're going to use her elder blood as a means for the ability of why she was able to do it and become the first female Witcher, canonically not even canonically because the games aren't canon, but still the first female Witcher to happen in their game. And it's not really going to be that grand of an explanation. I really think that people that are looking for a super explanation, they're not going to get one. So if that's what you're looking for, I would probably walk away from that idea. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate if you get to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.